Hello, welcome to today's tutorial. The part 2 of the Adobe Photoshop beginners tutorial. Today we're going to be continuing from where we stopped. Hope you followed the first part of it. If you've not, please you need to watch it so that you'll be able to understand this second part. Now, I believe that the first part you guys understood everything. So today we are going to be going through the toolbar because I know I've been getting a lot of questions about the toolbar for a lot of people that are into Photoshop that don't know a lot of things about it. So today we're going to be going through the toolbar. Then let's try to open Adobe Photoshop. Okay. So once you open it, you create a new document. Try to create a new document, file, new. If you remember the first part of it, then select your any page size, then okay. Now we'll go to the first part. Now remember that this side, we say that this side is the toolbar. There is the toolbar. Then if you want to, like any icon you see that have a lower button, something like an arrow behind it, you see that you should know that it has a family. There are some tools in it, but if it doesn't have it, it doesn't have any tool inside of it. So when you right click here, you right click on your mouse, you see we have the move tool and the add board tool. Now this move tool is meant to help you move around images. For instance, let's place an image inside the Photoshop, or you can get an image and then you drag it in. Let's say, for instance, this airplane. Now, okay. So once you do it, you can be able to move around with it. We're on the move tool, move around with it. Then I'll use this opportunity to cover the part edit. You know, we have the transform. When you go to the edit, we have the transform to scale. I said something about it, and you can press free transform or Ctrl T. But me, I selected my show transform control here. That is why you are seeing this. And if I show off it now, you won't be able to see it there again. So, but when I put it and auto select, everything is on, so that I can easily click on the edge and it moves into transform mode, and it makes it easy for me. Then from this upper part where you see the good and the no icon, there is to press commit transformation. That is for you to apply the changes, and here is to cancel the changes. So once you click here, it closes it. Hope you understand. Now you've moved around everything. Then when you click it, you go to transform. Then from here you can change the size of it, the rotation. Here has the rotation. You can make it 90 degrees. You can see it 0 back to 0. Let's do it 90 degrees, and we have this place. Let's just leave the size. You discover that it has turned. If I don't want it to remain back, it's either I change the degrees to 0 or I click here. It goes back to its former stage. That is it for the transform and the move tool. Then the next part we have here is when you right click, you will discover the rectangular marquee tool. So I will teach you the rectangular marquee tool. You apply the same thing to other tools because they all do the same thing. Just the only difference there is that this rectangular marquee tool is you can use it to select image in a rectangular form. Then this elliptical marquee tool will select images in circular form. Hope you understand me. So when you click on the rectangular marquee tool, you select some part of the image. You can decide to delete, and let me get to the layer here so you can understand, in case, because there's something here, this thing now where my mouse is pointing, this is a smart object mode. It's in smart object, and if I should press delete to delete this part, it won't go. There will be an error command. So this layer now, this is where you arrange your jobs. Everything you use in your workspace in the Adobe Photoshop is found under the layer. So this layer helps you to arrange your jobs, arrange everything you do. For instance, let me open a recent job I think is here for you to see how I was able to arrange my objects according to the layers. One thing about layers is that layers is where everything, just like in CorelDRAW, these new versions of CorelDRAW, we have layers, but now in CorelDRAW you can easily do things easily. But now in Photoshop, it allows you to work on one particular image to give it an effect at a time, and you can have the ability to group it and do anything you want to do with it. Hope you're understanding me. So without knowing the layer, you might be having difficulty doing some stuff in Photoshop. So let's wait for a while. It's reading Photoshop document. You know the file is big. This is an album cover, so let's take time. Okay, for instance, see it here now. When you look at this side, you will find that this Instagram, team, down, BG, all these things now, they are groups. Everything you see here is under here. If I click this arrow button here, you see that everything that you can find here is, let me say I have this Insta. The Instagram icon is off. I have this at, you see it. So everything, and I group them so that I will know that they are under here. Even the artist itself, you can see that they can go and they will come back. So layers help you to arrange your jobs, and it seems like I'll take this layer so that when we are doing this toolbar, it can be easy for you to work with it. Then in the layer, let's say you right click here and you rasterize. If you don't rasterize that particular image on your layer, you can't manipulate it. I hope you understand. So when you leave smart object is when you want to maintain what smart object will do to the image, is that it will make, whenever you increase the image to any size, it maintains its pixel. That is what it should do for it. But if you put it on rasterize, there's let's say there's possibility of you losing that image the more you expand it. So let's rasterize it so we can be able to manipulate the image. And there you can find under the layer part, once you click it, you have blending options and bevel and this thing, all these things. You don't need to pass through here, although then you can, on top of this place, you have blend modes, dark. Then once you've entered the blend mode, you can use your down arrow on the keyboard to be changing the blend mode, multiple, color bond. But this works when you're working on a particular job. Then you'll be able to, you can go through the blend modes to see what their functions, and then know how to apply them to your job. Now this thing is not what I'll tell you what to do with it. You need to be able to discover which tool is appropriate for what I want to do now. Hope you're understanding me. Which tool is the appropriate one? If this one won't give me, is it this effect I want? Hope you understand it. So that's it for blend mode. Then when you get to the side of it, let's take this eye now. This eye icon here indicates whether the layer is visible or not visible. If I don't want this layer to be visible enough, again, I'll just click on this eye. It disappears, but it's still inside the work. Just that is gone. Let me say it has gone into the thing. For instance, let's say that someone being invisible and visible. Once you click it back, it becomes visible. But when you click it, it becomes invisible. Hope you understand. Click it. Then for the blend option here, at the part of this place, once you double click the left part of the mouse, not the right part, you double click. Just don't click where the text is. You double click. You discover that we have layer styles. There are blend options. When you go here, you see there are blend options. We have the bevel and emboss. What bevel and emboss does is it gives text. Mostly we use it on text to emboss text, to give it contour and all these things. You can go through the settings to see what this function is. Then we have the stroke. Just like in CorelDRAW, we have the stroke is called outline. So yeah, it's also a stroke. We call it stroke here. So you can give your shape or your text a stroke. Hope you're understanding me. You can give it a stroke so that when you're working, or let's say you're working on the text, you need something to come out of it, you can give it a stroke. And then the other one is the inner shadow. You can give inner shadow to objects or any other thing, and it has blend mode, opacity, and blend mode, just as I told you, to blend it to your particular work. Then opacity here means the, let's say, the visibility of that color. If you don't want it to be black, like just like having 10% black, 20% black, 50% black, 100% black. Now, the opacity will help you to work on the percentage of the density of the color. Hope you understand me. Then the angle here will determine which particular part you want it to be for this inner shadow. We want it to be the left hand side, using this circle, this perfect circle as an example, to select the angle in which you want it to be. Or if you have a default angle you want it to be, you can put it there.